Lastly, I ask that each of you keep Nolan's memory alive. Hold him close in your heart. Share his stories and never stop saying his name.
I want to put a reward up for $50,000 for anybody that could give the information that will lead to an arrest and a conviction in the case of what happened. So I didn't come to make money, I came to give money.
It's very sad and unfortunate what happened to Nolan Wells. After interviews, talking to people, and looking at evidence that the boys that they've accused, claiming that they're racist white people, that they took him out in the middle of an abandoned island and killed him, they didn't have nothing to do with it. If you're carrying a balance on your credit card, that debt is costing you money every single day that you wait. And a lot of people are working hard, making payments, juggling credit cards, personal loans, collections, medical bills, and still feel like they're not getting ahead. That's because minimum payments are not designed to get you out of debt. They're designed to keep you stuck. That's why you need to check out PDS Debt. PDS Debt has customized options for anyone struggling with credit card, personal loan, collections, or medical bills. They can help reduce up to half of what you owe and help you stop juggling multiple payments by getting one lower monthly payment. No minimum credit score required. Checking your options is fast, free, and it won't impact your credit. Savings starts the day that you complete the 30-second assessment. PDS Debt uses AI and data to go beyond the numbers and personalize saving solutions for you. They're top rated with thousands of 5-star reviews and a A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Get your free 30-second personalized assessment today at pdsdebt.com/Tatum. That's pdsdebt.com/Tatum. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here in Mississippi. I told you guys on my Instagram that I flew way out here because I wanted to know the truth of what happened to Nolan Wells, because I knew that these knuckle-dragging activists were not telling the truth, and they're not being honest. They're literally pushing an agenda to make money and get a GoFundMe as high as they can, then they go into the next city. I was able to talk to the boys that were involved that have been accused. I was able to get a ton of information. I was able to see evidence to debunk almost everything that these knuckle draggers were pushing, especially Al Sharpton and the other bald-head idiot. And to me, I think people owe these boys an apology. It's very sad and unfortunate what happened to Nolan Wells. I don't know if there was something that was foul play that happened to Nolan Wells. What I do know, after interviews, talking to people, and looking at evidence that the boys that they've accused, claiming that they're racist white people, that they took him out in the middle of an abandoned island and killed him, they didn't have nothing to do with it. And it's sad that they're not focusing on or trying to find the truth. They're trying to find an angle to push racism. Now, Nolan Wells had a funeral today, and it was very disheartening that they turned his funeral into an activist rally.
Justice for Nolan Wells. Justice for Nolan Wells. Justice for Nolan Wells. Justice for Nolan Wells. Now let's say it so his family will know they are not alone. Justice for Nolan Wells.
Nolan Wells deserved a lot more than what they provided. Nolan Wells' friends should have been able to be there at his funeral. But because they're pushing racism, the boys couldn't even show up out of fear of somebody killing them. While I was here, one kid got a package in the mail with powder on it with a death note on it to his house. These boys are getting doxxed and death threats and people showing up at their houses. No evidence whatsoever. I think that, I'm telling you, I think the family should sue the living daylights out of them. But Al Sharpton and the hoodwinkers went to this boy's funeral and offered $100,000 for information that leads to the arrest of a suspect in the Nolan Wells case. Roll the clip.
I'm not only saying we don't want nothing. I want to say right here now, and I'm inspired by who accused us of that I want to put up from National Action Network and me, I want to offer a reward of $50,000 to anybody I want to put a reward up for $50,000 for anybody that could give the information that will lead to an arrest and a conviction in the case of what happened. He was not on that island by himself. Somebody saw something and knows something. So I didn't come to make money. I came to give money. Stand up and tell the truth. I just got a text, Christine and Elmer, you know that Tyler Perry said he would pay for the funeral. He must be watching because he said, I'm going to match you and put up $50,000 more. So we putting up $100,000 for anybody that'll come forward. We just want the truth, that's all.
But let me tell you why this is problematic. Because at this point, we do not have evidence that there was something nefarious that happened, that there was some suspect. All we have right now with the information that's been provided is that his death is either inconclusive or there's no signs of foul play. Why are you interjecting race and interjecting issues into a case that don't already have issues? Now, let me point this out for you guys. I'm just giving you a teaser on things that I've learned from talking to the boys involved in this. When they initially came out and said that it was 4 boys that took Nolan to the island and then this abandoned island and left him there with a girl as if it was only a few people there, they lied, intentionally lied to you because the island had thousands of people there, hundreds of boats there. Some of the kids that they accused, Warren included, one of the kids, and that's one of the kids that I interviewed, Warren wasn't even on the boat going out to Horn Island with Nolan. He wasn't even on the boat. They didn't make that up. The boys leaving, they asked Nolan to get on the boat. We have evidence, and we can show it to you. We have evidence of people saying they heard the boys yell at Nolan and say, get on the boat, but Nolan wanted to stay behind with the girl. Why is that? He's 18. He's grown. He can stay behind and be with a chick if he wants to because he got hundreds of options to come back on another boat. And then they continue on in this funeral, making a mockery of this boy's life. I'll show you another clip from the funeral. Roll it.
The time when Reverend Al and NAACP and leaders show up to say, hold on, we want answers. We want answers because we love our children just like you love your children. Our tears are just as painful as your tears. Our pain hurts just as much as your pain. So whatever you would do for your children, if they were on that boat on Horn Island on July 4th, we want you to do it for Nolan Wells. Whatever investigation you would give for your children, we want you to do it for Nolan Wells. Whatever searches you would do on people's phones for your children, we want you to do that for Nolan Wells. Do it for Nolan Wells.
And then they say, we want answers. Well, why didn't y'all contact the boys that's allegedly that you claim was responsible for Nolan Wells' death? Why did you contact the boys? Why did you talk to their parents? Why did you talk to their attorneys? I talked to all of them. And you didn't think to reach out to them one time to get their side because you dirty dogs don't want to hear the truth. You don't want justice for Nolan. You want to pimp his name out to make money off of this boy. All right, we got a couple other clips.
Nolan had such a gentle, calming spirit about him. He had a way of making people feel seen, welcome, and valued. He could lift your confidence with just a few words and make you feel like you belonged. If you ever had the privilege of meeting our son Nolan or calling him a friend, then you experienced a glimpse of God's love through him. He was both protective and nurturing. He often told us that one day he wanted to have 3 daughters that he would name Sophia, Charlotte, and Olivia. He had a deep love for the Lord and an unwavering faith that was evident in the way he lived his life. As much as our hearts are broken, we find peace in knowing that our son is resting in the arms of the Lord. We will miss everything about him, from his quiet nature to the corny jokes, his gentle smile, the way he made everyone around him feel comfortable, loved, and at ease. Your absence has left an emptiness that can never truly be filled. A piece of our hearts will always be missing. Nolan, your father and I are incredibly proud of you. We've always been proud of you, of the young man you were, and we will always be proud of the legacy of love, kindness, and faith that you have left behind. In a world that can often feel dark, be like Nolan. Be the light that brightens the lives of those around you. Be the warmth for those who may be feeling the coldness of the world. Love deeply, protect fiercely, and welcome others with kindness. And remain faithful knowing that God is always with you. Lastly, I ask that each of you keep Nolan's memory alive. Hold him close in your hearts. Share his stories and never stop saying his name. As long as we continue to remember him, his light will continue to shine through us all.
I don't know, y'all. I'm frustrated with this. I'm frustrated that people like Don Lemon and others aren't concerned about the truth. I've sat and watched. I was up to 4 o'clock in the morning last night looking at lie after lie after lie after lie on social media. And it's perplexing because it never had to be this way. They could have done exactly what I did. Go to Horn Island, talk to the boys, talk to the attorneys, talk to people who are involved in this case, talk to people who live here. And they would have found out that this wasn't about race whatsoever. The least likely conclusion, even if something happened to Nolan, the least likely conclusion was that it was about race. Them framing it as if Nolan was the only black kid at the island with thousands of people is a lie. He wasn't even the only black person in the friend group. And I interviewed one of the black friends about this whole thing. Then they go and act as if the boys didn't report any of this to the police. The boys are the ones that contacted Nolan's mom and the Coast Guard before anybody did. Then they go out the next morning looking for Nolan. And I would argue that they made more of an effort than the parents did. The parents get on and make an excuse and say, well, we didn't have a boat. You telling me you can't find a boat to go look for your son? I'm going to leave that alone. But the boys that they're accused of killing him because they claim that they're racist were out looking for him. Why don't they tell you that? Why don't they mention that? Why don't they mention these boys are really good friends? Why don't they mention that Nolan's mama saying that she didn't know none of these parents? She didn't know she didn't know none of these people. One of Nolan's black friends that was on NBC said that he hang out with Nolan all the time. And there's no way that she would know that young man. But they get out there and they push it anyway. Y'all wait for the interview. We'll have it out soon. And you'll be able to hear from one of the boys, well, two boys that were accused in this situation. And the crazy thing is that even although I spoke to others who were allegedly involved in this, they were too afraid to come on camera because of the death threats. They don't want people taking what they say out of context. They don't want people threatening their lives and all of the above. And I applaud the young men who sat down with me and actually had the conversation, because it does take courage to do this. And it shouldn't be that way. Everybody should want to hear from these boys, to hear their side of it, instead of painting them as if they're racist and acting like this is a whole racial thing and Mississippi is full of racists. There ain't nobody in this city that I've heard from, talked to, even when I was around going to the restaurants here. There's not racial tension in Mississippi, at least not down here. These people should be ashamed of themselves, and I hope the family sue Benjamin Crump because all they do is go and race hustle. These people have been doing it since the 60s, dividing communities around the country, pushing fake narratives. That's all I have to say. I love you guys. I'm out.